All right, you guys, so for workout number 5 of the Better Balance, Better Adventure Challenge, you're going to need a weight. I'm going to use a kettlebell, just like this. So if you have a kettlebell, I would go ahead and grab that. I'm going to be using a 15. I would recommend doing anywhere between 10 to 15 pounds for this. Make sure you have some space. Also make sure if you need to, you can have something to hold on to. If you have a dumbbell, you will be able to use that as well if you don't have a kettlebell. I will post a link to purchase a kettlebell below because these Amazon basic ones are awesome and they're super affordable. So we're going to go ahead and get started. First, you're just going to set your kettlebell or dumbbell in front of you. We're still going to focus primarily on single leg balance because that's going to be one of the most challenging things about balance. So hopefully we have mastered a few of the other things, including standing one foot in front of the other and then doing some of those movements. Video number 4 goes over a lot of the basic single leg balance, so we're going to kick it up a notch today. Okay, ready? So kettlebell is in front. All you're going to do is just lightly tap the kettlebell or even just put it your foot right on top of it. Start to get some things warmed up. Then what I want you to do is I want to see if you can add in a little bit of a hop where you don't necessarily need to touch the kettlebell, but you're adding a small hop in between, controlling your foot as it goes over. And we're just going to go for 10 more seconds here. Start to get some of that blood flowing. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, now we're going to pick up that kettlebell and you're going to pick it up in one hand. The hand that the kettlebell is in, you're going to step forward with the opposite foot. Okay, so now what you're going to do, this is one of my all-time favorite balance exercises, but we're going to use it as a warm-up today. You can use that back foot as a kickstand to start, where your foot is just lightly tapped back, or you can also keep it up in the air. You're going to pass the kettlebell back and forth. The heavier the weight is, the harder this becomes. So then I want you to try to see if you can keep one foot on the ground, the other up in the air, as you're just passing it back and forth. You don't need to swing it. You don't need to do anything fancy. You're just switching hands. And this is challenging your side to side balance. So it's pulling you one way and pulling you the other. Not as exaggerated as that, but you have to be able to stabilize. And now you're going to switch. So you can use that kickstand to start. Because we want success here. I don't want you to be doing something where you have to kind of step every 1 or 2 repetitions. We want success. So start with the kickstand first. And then see if you can lift it up. If you're having problems, just do a couple reps with the kickstand, a couple reps without it, and see what you can work up to. We're going to go for about 10 more seconds here. So we are all about advanced balance exercises today. 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to keep the weight in your right hand. Okay. So now what you're going to do is you're going to step out with the left and you're going to meet the right hand. So let me show you. Step out and come back. Step out and come back. It's not necessarily a lunge, so you're not bending too much. You're just stepping, meeting them at the knee, and then coming back. I'll show you from the side so you can see your hips are going back and you're meeting right at the knee. Now, to make this more of a balanced challenge, when you come back up, don't let that leg touch the ground. Come down and meet the knee. Don't let that leg touch the ground. I'm using my hand to make my base of support a little bit wider, which helps with balance. If you need to, you can step back, but I really want you to challenge your balance here by really trying not to. And we're just gonna do 2 more on this side. Okay, now you're gonna switch. So left hand stepping out with the right, you're meeting at the knee, and then coming forward. Now, when you step back to the middle, that weight is really kind of giving you some perturbations, just some small movements where you really have to work to stabilize. Whew. Again, try not to touch that foot to the ground unless you absolutely need to. And we're just gonna do 5 more here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, set that kettlebell down in front, and we're going back to those hops. So I don't want you to think of it so much as a high knees. I want you to actually try to hop, hop. So it's kind of like a high knee, but you're almost adding in a little bit more hopping motion instead of like a running motion. Push off that foot to lift yourself up. Lift yourself up, even if you're not exactly getting really high off the ground. I really want you to think that you are, because that's going to make your muscles really try as hard as they can. "10 seconds. The idea is to get your heart rate going, because that's actually going to make your balance a little bit more challenging. But we want to challenge balance under fatigue. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, now, kettlebells in the right hand or dumbbell. I'm going to show you this one from the side. So you are going to take that left or right foot back, sorry. The foot that's in front is opposite to the kettlebell. So just like this. Okay, now, what you're gonna do is you're just gonna hold the kettlebell right out in front of you, roll your shoulders back. That's going to stay. Now, you're gonna reach back behind you and reach straight back. So, you're reaching at a diagonal, reaching straight back. Reaching at a diagonal, reaching straight back. So let me show you from the front. So you're reaching at a diagonal, reaching straight back. Kettlebell is staying right where it is, but it wants to pull you forward. So you're resisting that. And you should start to feel this in the hip of the leg that you're standing on. And to make this harder, don't touch the ground. Diagonal, backwards. And this is really challenging. So if you need to, tap lightly on the ground. You can also alternate reps, so you can do both directions without touching the ground, and then the next touching the ground. We're gonna go for about 10 more seconds here. Nice and concentrated. We have 3 seconds left. And stop. Okay, that you should really start to feel that burn on that hip. Same thing, other side. So now the weight is in the left hand. Now you are gonna put your right foot in front, and you're gonna take your left foot, and you're gonna tap across and back. Across and back. Across and back. Again, once you feel the hang of it, keep those shoulders back. Don't let yourself bend forward. Try not to touch the ground. Diagonal, backwards. Diagonal, backwards. Really concentrate on this one and really challenge yourself. If you need to use a wall or something for stability, you can. And we're gonna go for 10 more seconds here. The goal is fatigue in that hip. Hips are so important for balance and to relieve any arthritis, joint pain. Okay, all right, now, what I want you to do with this weight, I want you to put your feet as close together as you can get them. And we're gonna do a halo, meaning you're swinging the weight around your body. So you're just coming behind you and then coming in front. So I'll show you from the side, coming behind and coming in front. Keep it nice and close to you so you don't need too much shoulder extension to do this. Keep your core nice and tight and try to stand straight up. So no bending forward this way. And now you're gonna rotate directions. So now you're just gonna go the other way. So keeping your feet together really shouldn't be too challenging. And we're just gonna go for 5 more seconds here, because the next time we do this, we're going to make it a little bit more challenging. I just want to make sure that we can do this here. Okay, so now we're gonna go another time of the forward, jumping. Get control in this stance and then switch. Get control so it's not this. We're making this a power, but also a balance challenge. Trust me, it will still get your heart rate up, but you're also really forcing all of those muscles to work together. 10 seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, now the one I actually want to go back to is the deadlift or a hip hinge down to the knee and then coming up. Now this time, if you touch that foot down on the ground each time, I want to challenge you to try to keep it off the ground. So remember, you're gonna step out, meet that knee and that kettlebell or that dumbbell, come up, get your balance, and again. So it's not so much a deadlift, it's more just of a balance exercise. But remember, sit your hips back and then get control when you come back. And you all know I love side to side movements, so that's why we're doing this one again. 2 more. Last one. Okay, now you're gonna switch. Other side. Kettlebell's now in the left hand. You're stepping out with the right. Out, and then right back. Get control. Woo, and then come back. So balance is also all about recovery. So if you do kind of lose your balance, really fight to not just put your foot down. Really fight to make your body stabilize itself. And you can actually make this a little bit harder by coming back and kind of adding a little bit of a swing to see if you're able to control that. It's just something you can kind of play around with. But really fight, like I said, if you get off balance, really fight to see if your body can correct it for you versus just succumbing to putting your foot on the ground. 2 more. But if putting your foot down on the ground is the only way, that is totally fine. We're all about training balance. Okay, now what I want you to do this time, one foot in front of the other. And now we're going back to that kettlebell or dumbbell halo where you're going around your body. And the idea is kind of the same for this one. You're basically moving the kettlebell side to side by doing the halo. So your body is moving side to side, but really fighting to stay in one position. So that's why balance is a lot harder when you have a weight. Because if you're just using something that it doesn't weigh anything, you don't get a lot of side to side sway, it's called. But when you add weight, it's gonna pull you more to the side. So now you're gonna rotate directions. So go the opposite way you just were, but your feet are in the same position. Okay, switch your feet. Other foot's in front. We're doing the same thing. So start going one way. Stay here for about 30 seconds. If you have this mastered where the weight is kept close to you, you can make this harder by doing bigger circles. Bigger circles are going to increase your sway a lot more. So you can try to keep it out depending on how heavy your weight is and how your shoulders are doing. But taking bigger circles will make it harder. Rotate directions, so now you're going the opposite way. You can even see that my ankles are really working to keep me there. That's what we want. If your ankles aren't really wobbling, you need to make it harder or grab a little bit heavier of a weight. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, now we are gonna go back to the one where you're holding that kettlebell. Let's start in the left hand, stepping forward with the right. And this is the one where we were reaching behind and across, and then straight behind. Keeping yourself up, not letting the weight pull you forward. Diagonal, straight back. Diagonal, straight back. Challenge yourself by not touching the ground. Diagonal, straight back. Diagonal, straight back. Diagonal, straight back. Now you're gonna do 2 more. Notice I am going pretty slow. That makes it harder. I want you to be in control. Balance is all about control. Okay, switch. So now the weight is in the right hand. Left foot's in front and you're reaching diagonal behind with that right foot. Ready? Diagonal, behind. Again, I always recommend just trying a few, just touching the ground first. Make sure you can do it. And then try not to. Keep those shoulders back. Don't let yourself start to get rounded. Stay up nice and tall. Diagonal, back. Diagonal, back. Let's do 2 more. Diagonal, back. Last one. Diagonal, back. We have 1 more time of the power jumps, power balance jumps, whatever we want to call them. Notice balance might get a little hard. We've done a lot of balance and those muscles are starting to fatigue so they don't act as quickly. So if you do notice that you start to your balance starts to get a little bit harder, that's okay and totally normal. Ten seconds here. 3, 2, and 1. All right, guys, we have 1 more exercise to do. So grab the kettlebell in your right hand. Now, what we're going to do is you're going to do a single leg deadlift. Now you may have seen this exercise before, where you're going to bend forward and come up. Bend forward and come up. I use this exercise all the time. So now you're letting that kettlebell bring yourself forward a little bit. Notice it's not a squat. I'm not bending my knee. Your knee just stays slightly bent and doesn't change. Take that opposite leg. So the kettlebell's in my right hand. I'm standing on my left leg and taking my right leg back behind. You're just going to about your knee and then coming back up, standing up nice and tall each time. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, and switch. So now the kettlebell is in my left hand. I'm standing on my right leg and taking my left leg back. Go down to about that right knee and come up. The further down you go, the harder it's going to be because you're standing on one leg for a little bit longer. So as you start to feel comfortable, you can go down a little bit lower. But starting out with success is important, especially because it's at the tail end of a workout. I don't want you to be going too far over and then not being able to complete a full repetition. Success first. So doing a few just successful here, and we're going to try 3 more. And then you can progress as you're able to. And last one. Okay, so go ahead and set that weight down. We'll just do a quick cool down. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna make big leg circles. So you're coming out to the side and then in front. And now you're gonna switch directions. So go the opposite way. Hips are super important for balance, so sometimes you may notice some fatigue, but also some soreness, which is totally okay. And switch. It just shouldn't be significant pain. Opposite way. And switch direction, so now you're going the reverse. So if you did this workout and it was totally not that hard, I would really challenge you to grab a heavier weight. Because if we're just using like a 5 or a 3 or something like that, it may not be that challenging for you. On the reverse side, okay, now I just want you to step side to side. On the reverse of that, if this felt really challenging for you, I would highly recommend maybe you take the weight down. Like I said, the heavier the weight, the harder it's going to be because your body has to fight a lot more sway. Okay, last thing I want you to do is you're just going to step back, and I want you to try to push your hip forward. So this is a stretch of all of these muscles right in here. Squeeze your glute and try to tip your hips back so you feel that stretch kind of right in front. Hold for about 5 to 10 seconds, and then I want you to switch to the other side. Same thing, push your hips forward, feel that stretch in the right in your quad, your thigh muscle. And then we're just gonna do one more time. Step back, tilt your hips back, and kind of push into that. And then switch one last time. Push your hips back, feel that stretch. All right, so I just want to thank you guys so much. If you have made it through the Better Adventure, Better Balance challenge. I commend you, and I have lots more workout series coming down the pipeline. So go ahead and you can check out my other kettlebell exercise videos if that is your forte, or I have lots of other body weight, lots of other weighted things, so many options for you, because our main mission is to really show you that adventure is possible, that there are things you can do without flaring up your joint pain. So go ahead and check the description below. I always throw a bunch of resources and things down there that are going to be super helpful for you. My website is also keeptheadventurealive.com, so you can also visit that for lots of other resources as well. Thanks for watching.